came on a dime. I mean, I didn't know anything about this. I never studied for that kind of thing, but it took over my body. And I remember knowing that I could talk. I said, I'm never going to do anything else but this. I have found it.
Have you ever wondered what being hated by Hollywood's most celebrated legendary actor looks like? The name Al Pacino is one that rings bell as long as acting is concerned, both within Hollywood and internationally. Far from just another screen star, Al Pacino is a living legend that completely redefined the entertainment industry with his unique acting prowess in movies like Godfather, Scent of a Woman, Scarface, and more. For an actor that has stood out for decades, it's no surprise that Al Pacino has his own fair share of unfriendly frictions with some actors. From creative differences, to silent treatments, to competitive instances, and even actual unfriendly verbal expressions, these are the top 6 actors Al Pacino hated the most. Starting from number 6, we have Leonardo DiCaprio.
Nominees this year for their unbelievable performances. The Revenant was a product of the tireless efforts of an unbelievable cast and crew I got to work alongside. First off, to my brother in this endeavor, Mr. Tom Hardy.
Highly celebrated for his remarkable interpretation of characters in movies like Titanic, The Wolf of Wall Street, and many other popular movies, Leonardo DiCaprio is nothing short of an outstanding actor, which has earned him various awards, including the Oscars and the Golden Globes Awards. Despite being in the same industry for decades, it was not until the production of the 2019's Once Upon a Time in Hollywood that Al Pacino and Leonardo DiCaprio shared the screen. While Al Pacino was casted as Marvin Schwartz, a talent agent, DiCaprio, on the other hand, was casted as Rick Dalton, a TV actor.
It's my pleasure, Mr. Schwartz, and thank you for taking an interest.
Schwartz, not Schwartz.
What the hell? I'm sorry about that. It's my pleasure, Mr. Schwartz.
Call me Marvin.
Marvin, you call me Rick.
Rick? Oh, is that your son?
My son. No, that's my stunt double, Cliff Booth. Yeah.
Good to meet you.
We've worked together since the last 2 seasons of Bounty Law.
Yeah.
My car's in the shop.
During the shooting of this movie, crew members and other actors anticipated professionalism and smooth collaboration between Al Pacino and DiCaprio, 2 industry giants. However, they didn't foresee the surprising competition that played out between them, which reportedly impacted the film production. The generational gap between the 2 actors was quite significant, with each of them struggling to influence each other's performance. Pacino, the legendary method actor with 5 decades of iconic performances, working alongside DiCaprio, the modern master who had become the definitive actor of his generation, was not as easy as everyone had thought. Crew members were constantly faced with the dilemma of doing it the Al Pacino's legendary way or DiCaprio's modern way. This competition to assert influence went as far as even to wardrobe options, according to costume designer Ariane Phillips, who dressed both actors. She said working with Al seemed to dramatically influence Leonard into trusting his instincts rather than over-intellectualizing every choice. Interestingly, in Al Pacino's recent memoir, he shared that his scene with DiCaprio was originally a 21-page script but had to be cut down to just 2 minutes while they were shooting the movie. The reason? More than just for professional purposes, it could be that the friction between the 2 stars on set had something to do with the cut down. Moving to number 5, we have Johnny Depp.
I don't know, real, in a way. It should just be some expression.
Johnny Depp is an American actor, but not just that, he is also a musician and has received quite a number of awards for his eccentric performances. Depp initially started his career in entertainment as a part of an amateur band, and fate eventually landed him on a teen idol television series that kick-started his acting journee.
Donnie, come here.
I want to know where my husband is.
We don't know.
You're gonna freeze up? No, a lot of guys freeze up.
You said it was going to be 3 months. It's going on 3 years.
In 1996, Al Pacino and young Johnny Depp came together for the first time to shoot the Donnie Brasco movie. Before even meeting Depp, Al Pacino reportedly expressed his concerns about shooting such an intense movie with a young actor like Depp, who had just transitioned from television series into serious film roles. But this initial skepticism was just the beginning of more tensions that developed between the 2 actors. On set, what emerged was a masterclass in contrasting approaches to the craft. Crew members reported that while Al would arrive at the studio early and transform to Lefty Ruggiero before their eyes, physically and emotionally, Depp's approach couldn't have been more different. Depp would stroll in right at call time, completely relaxed, then try to switch into character, an approach that Al Pacino had a problem with. In fact, Depp has expressed his opinion about Al Pacino that has left everyone shocked.
I started pulling the gags on Al. That was the moment I realized he was absolutely out of his mind. I mean, like, no, but really, like, he's certifiably insane. Standing there, smoking a cigarette. Finally, I just couldn't take it anymore. I said, hey, here's the funny thing, Al. The one thing that I never, ever expected or imagined, that you're actually certifiably insane.
A crew member on the set even recounted a tense moment during the restaurant scene, where Al Pacino's frustration boiled over and he reportedly shouted at Depp saying, "Where are you? Because you are not with me right now." Even during rehearsals, the silent treatment between both actors screamed louder than the words written in the script. Al Pacino was not comfortable with young Depp's laid-back approach to their craft, and Depp did not mind. For him, it was an older person's thing. After all, he was doing just fine in his acting. Director Mike Newell found himself mediating between two completely different creative processes. The most memorable clash occurred during preparation for the scene where Lefty begins to suspect Donnie's true identity. While Depp wanted to rehearse it multiple ways, exploring different levels of Donnie's guilt and fear, Al Pacino, on the other hand, wanted to shoot it immediately while the emotion was raw and unpredictable. They argued for so long, with Al Pacino saying, "The danger is in not knowing what's going to happen," and Johnny insisting, "But if we understand the psychology, we can find deeper truth."
We're so close here. Hey, you got us in the game.
What's going on with the beard, man?
I'm doing research. I don't want to be recognized, okay?
What do you think people are thinking here? That I'm sitting with my rabbi?
What is most fascinating is how the two actors remained almost at loggerhead behind the scenes, but look so in sync on the screen and have even gone ahead to collaborate in more movies like Jack and Jill, despite barely being able to stand themselves behind the screen. At number 4, we have Kevin Spacey.
He gave me some pretty good advice about working with Mike. Isn't this brave?
Just like most actors, Kevin Spacey commenced his acting career as a stage actor before slowly transitioning into a screen actor. But what really makes him stand out is his unique ability to impersonate comic characters and leave the room so filled with laughter. His work has earned him various awards, including a BAFTA award, a Tony Award, and many more. In 1992, when director James Foley assembled the cast for David Mamet's Glengarry Glen Ross, he unknowingly created the perfect laboratory for observing two distinct predators, Al Pacino and Kevin Spacey, in their natural habitat.
This. What this? The deal. The deal?
The thing is, Kevin Spacey was young in the industry, but not in age. His usual cold and calculative aura ended up clashing with Al Pacino's usual imposing and intense aura. The most telling moment came during filming of a particular scene in the movie where Kevin suggested playing Williamson's mistake as genuine incompetence rather than malice, but Al Pacino pushed back, saying that would make the character too sympathetic. They went back and forth about it, with Al arguing that everyone in this world knows exactly how much damage they're doing. Even though Kevin eventually agreed, that argument put a strain between both actors. The lasting impact of their clash in Glengarry Glen Ross became evident in their subsequent collaboration choices. Casting director Mary Vernieu, who worked with both actors on later projects, noted that their relationship was one of a kind. After Glengarry, both actors seemed to understand how to manage each other's presence on set while maintaining distance from each other away from the camera. This was seen in The Usual Suspects, Seven, and eventually House of Cards, movies that both actors later collaborated on. Again, at number 3, we have Tom Cruise. Called the American action movie Psycho by many, Tom Cruise has earned a reputation as a fearless action hero, pushing the limits of physical stunts in his films. From heart-stopping bridge jumps to death-defying climbs on moving vehicles and planes, Cruise has consistently delivered high-end performances in blockbuster franchises like Mission Impossible, Magnolia, Risky Business, Rain Man, and more. Contrary to what you would expect to hear, Tom Cruise and Al Pacino have never shared a screen despite their many decades of being in the same industry, because the first time they two actors were casted in the same movie, something so discomforting played out that they never made it to the shooting stage. In 2003, both actors were cast for a movie called Collateral, with Cruise set to play the calculating hitman Vincent and Al Pacino as the unwitting taxi driver Max. What transpired during the character workshop sessions would become a cautionary tale about what happens when two titans of different acting philosophies collide. The warning signs appeared immediately during the first casting meeting. However, the real trouble began during the mandatory character workshop sessions. During what became their last workshop session, Tom and Al Pacino found themselves in an intense disagreement about how a section of the taxi scene, each trying to assert influence over the other. The situation deteriorated rapidly as both actors' entourages became involved. Tom's people were whispering about Al being difficult and controlling, while Al's camp was calling Tom a rebellious action star who didn't understand real acting. The room was divided into two camps, and everyone could feel the hostility radiating from both sides. The end came suddenly and definitively. Producer Michael Mann called an emergency meeting after receiving reports from multiple crew members about the toxic atmosphere. The aftermath was swift and brutal. Shortly, both actors had been released from their contracts, and the actors had to be changed or risk shelving the project indefinitely. The word spread through Hollywood like wildfire. Two of our biggest stars had proven they couldn't share the same space for more than a week without trying to destroy each other. Over the years, producers have remained unwilling to risk putting Al Pacino and Tom in a film. Aside from Tom Cruise, Jared Leto is the #2 actor hated the most by Al Pacino.
A successful musician, director, and just a person who has a rich inner world.
As a versatile actor and musician, Jared has captivated audiences with his remarkable performances. With a career spanning film, television, and music, he has consistently demonstrated his creative range and dedication to his craft. The project that brought Al Pacino and Jared Leto together was a 2021 movie called House of Gucci, a story about the true story of the Gucci family and their fashion empire. The clash between Al Pacino and Jared Leto during the filming of House of Gucci was rooted in their fundamentally different approaches to the craft of acting. Pacino, a veteran of the intuition school, had built his legendary career on emotional authenticity and naturalistic performances, drawing from his own experiences to create deeply felt characters. When he arrived on set each day, he expected to work with actors who shared his commitment to finding truth in the moment, building scenes through genuine interaction and spontaneous discovery. Leto, however, brought his notorious method acting approach to an extreme level that immediately put Pacino on edge. The first day of filming, Leto showed up in full costume and character as Paolo Gucci, so transformed that Pacino didn't even recognize him. Even though Al Pacino perceived the physical transformation to be a little too much, something else left him more unsettled. It was Leto's insistence on remaining in character between takes, speaking only in his exaggerated Italian accent and maintaining Paolo's mannerisms even during lunch breaks. Al Pacino, who valued the collaborative process of building a scene with fellow actors, found himself frustrated by Leto's refusal to break character for discussions about blocking, motivation, or script changes. The tension escalated during their father-son scenes, where the emotional weight of Aldo and Paolo's complicated relationship required delicate calibration between the actors. Al Pacino, accustomed to working with actors who could shift seamlessly between their personal selves and their characters, struggled to connect with Leto's unwavering commitment to Paolo's persona. Throughout the shooting, Al Pacino found it challenging and reportedly confronted Leto on several occasions. Since shooting the film, Al Pacino has shown little or no interest in co-starring with Leto again. And finally, at #1, we have Dustin Hoffman. From Rain Man to All the President's Men to Finding Neverland, Little Fockers, and many other renowned movies, Dustin Hoffman is a household name in the movie industry, and his legacy remains timeless. The conflict between Dustin Hoffman and Al Pacino during the ill-fated production of Adeka in 1974 became one of Hollywood's most legendary behind-the-scenes battles, ultimately contributing to the film's abandonment after only 6 weeks of shooting. The project, an ambitious political thriller set against the backdrop of corporate espionage in post-war America, was meant to capitalize on the success both actors had achieved with The Godfather and All the President's Men. However, what began as a dream pairing of two of the era's most intense performers quickly devolved into a clash of artistic egos that forever changed how studios approached casting multiple method actors in leading roles. The tension began almost immediately during the first table read, where both actors arrived having developed completely different interpretations of the script's central relationship. The obvious disconnect became apparent, leading to confrontation between the two characters. Both actors had developed such different approaches to the material that they seemed to be performing in entirely different movies. In the end, both actors reportedly told the studio he couldn't find a way to make their scenes work together. The director, who had gotten so discouraged by the actors, ended up officially packing up. Adeka was officially shelved, with the studio citing creative differences as the reason, though industry insiders knew the real cause was the irreconcilable conflict between two of Hollywood's most uncompromising talents. A total disaster sparked by Al Pacino's hatred, or don't you think so? Let's know your thoughts in the comment section. Hit like, subscribe, and share for more videos.